I guess depending on what part of the world you're in, because for some of you, whew, it's early in the morning. I'm R.C. Blakes. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I'm R.C. Blakes. I'm a pastor, I'm a man, I'm an author, I'm a husband, I'm a father, all of that. And I like to come on YouTube and I like to discuss issues that are relevant to me, and quite often it's relevant to other people. I like to discuss issues surrounding life and people. I love people and I'm a student of life. I'm no psychologist, I'm no therapist, I'm no licensed counselor. I'm just a pastor and a man. And I've written a book entitled Queenology. And when you break that, that whole saying up, Queenology, or that whole theme, it speaks of the study of queens. And what this particular book and this particular movement does is it impacts the woman's self-awareness. It impacts the woman's self-consciousness. And it's written from a father's perspective. It's just me as a man writing to a generation of women who largely have not had fathers to speak into their lives. It's me speaking as a father would to his daughter, relative to how queens function in the earth. Building from the premise that all women are queens. Most are just unaware. Every woman is born a queen. Most are just uninformed. And we call that broken consciousness. If you follow my teachings or you read my books or you come to my conferences, you begin to understand this language. We call that broken consciousness. It is when a woman has been separated from her true identity to the point that she cannot function on the level the Creator made her for. And this is what you see with many women today. You see many women who are struggling with broken consciousness. And it's the imagery of a queen. Well, let me say this before I say that. When a woman struggles with broken consciousness, she is then toyed with by the world. And when we say the world, we're largely talking about perverted male society that seeks to manipulate, use, and abuse the value called woman. When a woman is not aware of who she is abused by the world. And the imagery of that is a queen on a corner being pimped by a clown. The question we often ask inside of Queenology is, how does a PhD of a woman be manipulated by a GED of a man? And that's not making little or making light of any educational position, because intelligence has absolutely nothing to do with degrees earned. Some of the most foolish people in the world that I know have multiple degrees, and some of the wisest have none. But it speaks to a woman who is everything being manipulated by men who are quite often shallow and empty. How does that happen? So that's just an introduction. Someone told me that I should not approach my sessions on YouTube as though everyone knows me, because some do not. And that is so true. If this is not your first time watching live, I'm certain that there will be many of you who will, thank you so much. I'm certain that there will be many of you who will watch for the first time the replay. So that's an introduction to me and who I am and what I do. Now, tonight, I want to look at something that was just kind of burning in my heart to the point that, I hope my signal is good, to the point that I sat on the back porch and literally just kind of wrote this out and came in immediately and sat down and set up to talk to you. And I would love for you to share this. If you have Facebook, I'd love for you to share it on Facebook. Presently, we have 396 of you in here. I'm looking for that number to climb. So I need you to give me some thumbs up. They tell me that that helps the channel. I don't know all of these things about, that, but I just listen to what people tell me who do know. I want to talk tonight about 5 non-negotiables of a queen-conscious woman. 5 non-negotiables of a queen-conscious woman. You know what a negotiation is. It's when you and someone else, it's when you guys are kind of going back and forth relative to what kind of deal you want to make surrounding whatever particular item. It's, thank you so much. It's kind of like when you go to the car dealership, you're kind of accustomed, we are kind of accustomed, at least in the United States of America, we're accustomed to going through the whole song and dance of negotiating. They telling you, well, I can't do it for more than this. And you walking away from the table saying, well, I don't want them, going down the street, and they calling you back and, just negotiating, going back and forth over this, what? Car. Well, there's a certain level that a queen conscious woman sees herself at, views herself at, and there's certain things that are just not negotiable. And the negotiable items do not start when the queen enters the world. There are certain things that the queen refuses to negotiate even within her own mind. Her stability is established within her. And the things, watch this, she refuses to entertain within herself, to the point that when the queen walks into the earth or walks into the world picks up on her presence because she has come to a certain and definite conclusion about herself and what she will and or will not tolerate from herself. So before it's kind of like going back to the car dealership scenario. It's kind of like knowing what you want to pay for this car, period, and going into the dealership and saying to the people immediately, well, this is the car I'd like to have, but this is what I'm paying, period. Now, we're not going to haggle. You're not going to play the little dance and the song with me. This is what I'm willing to pay. Well, when you enter in with that mindset and they realize that you're not desperate to buy this car from them, and watch this, that you do have excellent credit and you have options, well, then they cut the fat out and they stop playing with you. Well, when a queen has certain things that she's established in her own heart, that she says within herself, this is what I'm not going to tolerate within me. Like one of the chapters in the book, Queenology, queens do not tolerate insecurities within herself. She does not tolerate insecurity. There are certain things that you as a woman cannot allow to play out even in your thinking. There are certain things that you have to just make up your mind, I'm not tolerating that, not out of me. Because if I tolerate this out of me, the world will take advantage. Whatever I tolerate, the world will take advantage of. Now, what is a non-negotiable? This is my definition for what that's worth. A non-negotiable is a standard that you are fundamentally incapable of falling beneath. You've established, I'm sitting in my house. Well, there's a floor and there's a ceiling. Well, the foundation of this house cannot be altered. We cannot go lower. We cannot go lower. Thank you. Now we can go higher. We can, knock the roof off this place and possibly put another level on it. But you cannot go lower. A non-negotiable is a standard that you are fundamentally incapable of falling or going beneath. It is a behavior that would break your soul and divorce you from yourself Thank you, Denise. Thank you. It's hard for me to read some of your names, so if I don't call your name, it's because it's just hard for me to read it. Thank you. It is a behavior that would break your soul and divorce you from yourself. It's a non-negotiable, you know. Like as a man, as a leader, as a pastor, there are non-negotiables in my life that I didn't have prior. When I was a younger man and wasn't really conscious, there were certain things that I would tolerate. Well, there's certain things I don't tolerate out of me. You know, it's a non-negotiable. I'm going to be a man of my word. I'm going to be a faithful man. I'm going to be a trustworthy man. I'm going to be a safe man. These are non-negotiables. You know, these are wherever you meet me in the world, you're going to find me functioning in sync with those standards for myself. That I'm going to live what I preach. You know, you're not going to find me on here preaching one thing and then you see me out in the street or somewhere in the country or in other parts of the world and doing something different. These are non-negotiables. These are things that I as a man don't tolerate. So when I walk into the world, I walk into the world with my mindset established. And pay attention to that word, mindset. See, all of us have a mindset. The question is, who set your mind? Well, for queens and for kings,